Hello, and welcome to part 3 of my little video series here, part 3 of 3, where I'm showing you my new Darkrai deck. I've got Tool Scrapper and Enhanced Hammer instead of lasers, I've got Switch instead of Energy Switch, and I'm trying to see if it can still keep up. Now, if you haven't seen the first 2 parts, I would suggest you go back and look at them now. I'm about to spoil them. In part 1, we saw a Sableye take down a Clink. In part 2, we saw an Empoleon that just couldn't set up because we just outspeeded it. Bearing in mind we outsped it even though we haven't got Energy Switch, and that was what I kind of showed you in that second game. Now you see here I'm just mulliganing again and again and again and again, but eventually I get a couple of Absol to start off. Now my opponent mulliganed. I believe he's also playing a Darkrai deck here. In fact, I know he is, because I've already played this game. And this is the kind of the big finale, the epic game to finish it off. You can already see if you look down the bottom, it's 15 minutes long. It's a bit longer, it's better. So, he gets to go first, he gets the first attachment on his Darkrai, he gets an Eviolite. So, already he's off to a good start. You'll also notice there I don't have a supporter in hand, so this is one of those situations where you want to go second because you sit and you cross your finger that he's going to get an N. Now he's computer searching here, he's probably computer searching for a supporter, and it was an N. So actually, going second was a brilliant thing there. And I get my own N, I get an Ultra Ball with free energy, and that's a brilliant, brilliant start. Because I can get 2 energy in the discard, ready to start Dark Patching next turn. I can get a Sableye out and active. And I can get an energy on him ready to junk hunt, because I can use my scramble switch to get him into the active position, and it doesn't even matter because I can just scramble switch my I can junk hunt my scramble switch back. Usually you don't want to be using scramble switch as a switch, but one of the amazing things about junk hunt is that you have that liberty. Now I get a Tool Scrapper there, which means I can get rid of his Eviolite. I don't really need to yet. I get a Dark Patch, which is wonderful because now I can junk hunt that Dark Patch back. And then I'm guaranteeing 4 attachments in the first 2 turns. So, you see them in there. Clearly it's going to be a junk hunt for a Dark Patch and a Scramble Switch. I don't bother using... Oh no, I do bother using the Tool Scrapper. That's not really a bad play. The reason I used it there was because he could have ended me, and if he next turn I am going to be attacking. So I went safe, I played it here, rather than letting him end me and risking not pulling it. Now, I am playing free in this deck, so I might have hit another one, but I figured better safe than sorry. But here's where it starts going wrong. I'm playing my new Darkrai. Now, I've geared this towards the new format, and one of the things about the new format is there's just no real place for Landorus. Blastoise is good, Kyurem is good, Genesect is good, and all of these are pretty good versus Landorus. The problem I've got here is that my opponent isn't. I believe he's got Crushing Hammers and such in his deck. And basically, he's got the Landorus. Now, I'm not really playing it. I'm not even playing a Caldeo in this list, because no Energy Switch and regular Switch means you don't need Caldeo. But you can see there he did 60 to my Absol, 30 to my Sableye. The only saving grace is that he's now not going to be able to knock out that Absol residual bench damage, because he's got 40 HP left. So, I am able to use Scramble Switch to get that Absol going. The reason I put free energy on it, quite simply, is because I want to be able to use its second attack for 60, because just using Mind Jack is going to do very little damage. And don't forget that when you play with Absol. That second attack is alright. Now, it's not a great hand, but I've got a couple of Bicycles in there. I'm playing 4 Bicycles in this deck because I want to try and make it as fast as I can. And if you look at the last game where I played against Empoleon, and if you look at this game, you'll notice that the deck runs very, very well. Now, on my podcast in the near future, I'm going to really analyse this Darkrai deck, but suffice to say, quite simply, the matchups aren't really there anymore. I don't think it's good. Hydreigon's coming back, it's not good against that. It's not good against Blastoise. I think it'd be quite good against Virizion, but the whole, it's still good against Plasma with a free Enhanced Hammer and a Tool Scrapper and all that, but, it's just... Yeah, I don't think it can stand up anymore, but you can see it runs very, very well. So he gets down a Dark Claw, and I get a second Tool Scrapper to get rid of his Dark Claw. And then I'm able to Fearsome Shadow for 60. He shows me his hands. I can see he's got a Colrus, an Eviolite, and I can see a Terrakion there. Now, that ain't good for me. Because you'll notice I kept that Darkrai in my hand. Now it's really bad, because I don't really want to risk, so he gets 2 tools down. So I'm going to want to get a Tool Scrapper at some point. I've still got 1 left. that Terrakian's going to come down. And now it basically means I've got to be really careful about the KOs that I take. Terrakian, now I'm not playing lasers here, so I can't knock him out with poison damage. And Terrakian's got that Retaliate attack, whereby if I knock out anything with damage, he's going to be able to use Retaliate to get the one-hit KO on my Darkrai, and I don't want that. Not only that, but once he gets to Retaliate, it's just one more fighting energy the following turn, and he's sorted. So, I'm going to retreat for my Sableye because there's not really anything I can do here. I don't have a supporter, I don't really have a huge amount of anything, and he's just going to be running through me. Now this is a terrifying turn to take. Generally with Darkrai decks you want to spend the first turn or two junk hunting. Here I'm doing it mid-game. He's got a better board position than me. If I go back and forth with him here, I'm going to lose this game. There's no way I'm going to win it going back and forth. So I'm going to grab a Tool Scrapper because he's got 2 tools on the board. And I'm going to grab a Scramble Switch. Now, the reason is I've got a Dark Patch and I've got a Scramble Switch. Even if he knocks out my benched Absol, I'm going to get at least 2 energy on that Darkrai. I'm hoping I can get a third. I'm going to have an Absol going at least. I might be able to get a Darkrai going next turn. Now, I haven't really done much of anything, so he's probably not. And he gets a Crushing Hammerhead, which is annoying there, especially since it's rotated out, and he gets a Potion. Now, he doesn't appear to be playing Energy Switch here. We'll see if he plays one later on in the game. Can't remember if he does or not. But he's got the Potion. That's setting me back. He's got the Landorus and Terrakion. He's got the Darkrai ready to Night Spear. It's not looking great. The good news is my 2 energy Absol hasn't been knocked out. He's got no energy on the Terrakion, and he's got 1 energy on the Landorus. So I can kill both of his tools here. I wish he was playing special energy, not basic fighting, but nothing you can do about that. And I can then pop the Darkrai down. I can Dark Patch onto the Darkrai. I've actually gotten lucky enough to top deck a Juniper, which I didn't need to top deck the Juniper. The reason I didn't go for a supporter was because I had everything I needed, and that Darkrai was going to get at least 2 Night Spears off. But I'm a turn down. He's got his Landorus there with his energy. He's got his Darkrai ready to Night Spear. He's got a Terrakion there to set up to try and take down my Darkrai. He's got Crushing Hammers in his deck. You can see here that this is... It's kind of a mirror match, but it's very unfavourable. Now, the advantage I've got here is that my list is bred for pure consistency. But the problem is, he got a slightly better start than me, and he's got his Landorus. But I get my Dark Claw, I get another Dark Patch there. I've got 2 random receivers, a switch. I've got an energy, which I can attach. It's not going terribly. But I don't want to be flooding my field with Darkrai's here, because, you know, I'm scared of that Terrakion. So I'm going to put 30 on that Terrakion. What this means is I'm taking down his fighting attackers, but then it means that he's going to be able to just Night Spear me. And he knows that I can't ignore... The Landorus now just needs a fighting energy to start killing things. He's got his Terrakion there. Now, personally, I think he should have potioned it off the Terrakion, because I'm going to be gunning for that Terrakion. Terrakion's got 100 HP left. I am going to be able to kill him next turn. So he ends me. Again, he's playing lasers there, another thing in his favour over mine. And he hits heads, and he ends me out of a switch, which is somewhat frustrating. So, he does 110 to my Darkrai. I think I used a Tool Scrapper earlier, and I either forgot or the game wouldn't let me get that Dark Claw off. But I can see that his Landorus is on 110. The good news is he still has no energy on his Terrakion, which is good. His Terrakion is 1 hit with a Dark Claw away from being killed, and he doesn't have any energy on it. Now, he doesn't appear to be playing Energy Switch here. I don't know if that's correct or not. So I can now use Tool Scrapper to get rid of that Dark Claw as well, which I should have done before. If he is playing Energy Switch, then that sets up for the lovely Energy Switch fighting energy kill with Terrakion play. So it just depends what I'm going to be able to do here. I've got an N, so I can end him down to 4. That's going to be quite useful. And as I have a look through my thing there... Oh, apparently I'm not going to have a look through it. I'm just going to play that N. I know I've got at least 1 more in deck. So you can see I had to get the mid-game junk hunt. That has paid off quite nicely, but I'm still behind. I'm 2 prizes down. I've got a half-dead Darkrai, which is almost certainly going to go down next turn. But I've got my Absol, he's going to be doing 80 damage. I've got my Sableye, so I can get some Junk Hunting action. And actually here, I don't want to lose my Darkrai, so I'm going to hope that he doesn't have a catcher. And I'm going to Mind Jack for 80. It's not the ideal situation, but, you know, given the situation, it was a risk I took. And it doesn't seem to have paid off. He's catching up my Darkrai. The advantage I have got here, and he goes and gets a fighting energy from an energy search, which he then puts onto my Landorus, and now the Landorus has free energy. That is not good. It's not good at all. So I have a quick look through my discard pile. I've played an N. There's all free end. In fact, I've only got one N left, it looks like. So he's able to KO my Darkrai, and he's got free energy on his Landorus. So it's really not looking good for me here. I'm down by 3 prizes. I've got no attacker set up. So I'm going to pop down a Darkrai, and I'm basically going to hope. I'm going to Dark Patch. Get energy on my Darkrai there. I'm going to be able to switch up my Darkrai. Now, I didn't have to, I could have switched up the Absol and tried to retreat to the Darkrai. Now, as it turns out, I do hit the Dark Patch and the energy. I didn't think I would, so I just switched up to the Darkrai. I don't hit another switch there, so I'm not actually going to be able to get any Darkrai action going here. You'll notice I'm also not playing Max Potion here, which is annoying. So, I capture up his Landorus. And I'm going to retreat. I'm going to stick up my Absol. Now, the reason I put up the Absol there is because I don't want to be attacking with a Darkrai. I knew there was a reason I didn't put it up. I don't want to be attacking with a Darkrai because the Landorus is in range for the Absol, and my Darkrai, although it's fresh, he can just discard those 2 fighting energy and one hit it for the win. He's only got 2 prizes left. And that Absol can be knocked out by bench damage anyway. So I'm going to knock that out. Now the Darkrai, you know, that Absol's going down here. Either he can put it to the bench, or he can take out my Darkrai. Now, here, what he's looking for is a catcher. If he can catcher up my Sableye, I believe he can knock out both my Sableye, and he can knock out my Absol at the same time, and that's going to get him his last 2 prizes. So, I'm really walking on thin ice here. Now, the advantage I have got is that he's got a very small hand. All he's able to do is just knock out that and put 30 on the Darkrai. That Darkrai is not going down next turn, which is good. So I'm going to capture up his Terrakion. Now, that's actually good here that I don't have a Dark Claw, because I'm not going to kill this Terrakion. I'm going to put the Terrakion up to 120, and I'm going to hope he doesn't have a Dark Energy. If he doesn't have a Dark Energy here, this Terrakion is stuck in the active. When I put 30 damage on that Darkrai is now very much within Night Spear range. Now I've got 2 Junipers in hand. If I can get a catcher next turn, I can Juniper for the catcher. I'm going to be able to knock out his Darkrai, and I'm going to be able to knock out his Terrakion. Now here I don't need a catcher. He's retreated, he's got the Night Spear. My Darkrai's got a huge amount of damage here. My Darkrai's very almost dead. But he's going to have no attackers here. When I Night Spear here, I'm going to take out his Darkrai, I'm going to take out his Terrakion, and then he's just left with a Sableye. At which point, I'll have 1 prize left. I've got a catcher left in my deck, I've got a catcher in my prizes. I'm probably going to be able to get, because I've got Bicycles and Ultra Balls and all of that. I think I've still got a Juniper left in my deck. I'm probably going to be able to run through my deck enough to get a catcher and take out that Sableye, even if he's able to get something like a Landorus or a Terrakion or something out. So it's looking pretty good here. If he can somehow get a Landorus fighting energy, I might be in trouble, but I think generally here I'm going to survive quite nicely. Yes, now I've got 120, which actually means Landorus fighting energy here will win him the game. So I just have to sit and hope he doesn't have that. But of course, Landorus fighting energy alone won't do it, because he's going to have his Sableye stuck in the active. So I don't think he's actually going to have any way to retreat his Sableye, because he doesn't appear to be playing switch cards. So how he's actually going to get out of this, I don't know, and I think I've just won the game. So the reason I uploaded this one was because it's an absolutely thrilling game. It's a Darkrai mirror match. He was playing Landorus, he was playing Terrakion, he had lasers, he had Crushing Hammer, and I had Tool Scrappers, which were clutch in this game, and then I had Enhanced Hammer, which did absolutely nothing. I wanted to show you that this Darkrai list could work. It's nice and fast, it gets going. But I also wanted to show you, I think this is a game I played fairly well. That mid-game junk hunt, which was risky, paid off quite nicely. I managed to set up the 3 Pyres turn, KOing the Terrakion and the Darkrai, to not leave me open for any possible retaliation play. So, I've now shown you 3 games of my new Darkrai deck, so you can make up your mind now if you think it's any good or not. Please watch the rest of my videos, and don't forget to subscribe if you're enjoying them. Cheers!